Hey everybody, this is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. I know we've talked about this before, and maybe you watched my video on it. I want to talk some more about DBQs. A DBQ is a Disability Benefit Questionnaire. It's used in VA disability claims, and whether you know it or not, there will be a DBQ filled out on your behalf at some point during your VA disability claim. If you don't submit a DBQ, the C&P examiner will fill one out for you, and they will submit it in your claim. So, what is a DBQ? Why do I care? What do I need to know? Let's break it down. So, Disability Benefit Questionnaire is a form provided by the VA, and by the way, at least at the moment, they can be searched and downloaded directly off the VA's website. So if you want to see a DBQ, I'll put a link in the description, but you can simply Google for the name of the disability, let's say PTSD, and the word DBQ, and hit enter. You'll see the VA, make sure it's the one from the VA.gov. You'll see the VA DBQ and you can download it. And it's a PDF file. And it's multiple pages. And it's full of a lot of questions. Those questions are not for you to fill out. Those questions are intended for a medical professional. And it's for a medical professional in the field in which you are submitting a disability request. So if you're filing a disability claim for migraines, then it is a questionnaire to be filled out by, say, a neurologist. If it's for GERD, then it's for a gastroenterologist, a specialist in the field, in other words, right? If it's a psychological or psychiatric issue, then it's to be filled out by your treating psychologist or psychiatrist. Now, why do you want to fill one out? Why do you want to have your doctor fill one out? Mainly because it's a big part of proving your disability. Remember, when you file for a disability with the VA, you've got to have an in-service event and a current diagnosis. Current diagnosis. That's what the DBQ is best for, right? It shows the VA that you, in fact, have a current diagnosis, because in the DBQ, among other things, there will be a diagnostic code. The doctor in question will put that code in there. Not you, them. They will put that code in there and they will sign it and put in their medical license number and those kinds of things. That tells the VA that, yes, you have a current diagnosis. If it does nothing else, it does that. There's no longer a question that you have a current diagnosis. That doesn't mean you had the in-service event, and it doesn't mean there's a connection between the current diagnosis and the in-service event, but it does mean that you have a current diagnosis. So it's important for that. But in addition to that, it allows your doctor to give information directly to the VA that is vital or can be vital in proving your claim. For example, the severity of your claim, right? Any prescription medications that the doctor has told you to take, or any actions that you've been told to perform, like physical therapy and things like that, wearing a CPAP, all that sort of thing, right? All of that can go into the DBQ, and the doctor can fill that out. Now, having established that a DBQ is a good thing and that it allows you to do a little more towards controlling the narrative, because remember, your C&P examiner will fill out a DBQ, but you don't get to see that, and you don't get to control what's in it. So which one would you prefer? The one you control or the one the VA controls? I'm going to take the one I can have some input into. Yeah, thanks very much. So now the question is, how do I get my doctor to fill out this DBQ? Well, bear in mind that your doctor is there to help you with medical problems, psychiatric problems, physical problems. They are there to heal you, not fill out paperwork for the government. You're interested in a disability claim as well as in getting better, I hope. But they're not that interested in you getting a disability claim. That's not their purpose in life. So why would they fill one out for you? Well, in many cases, your doctor won't. They may say things like, I don't understand how to fill this out. I'm not a VA person. I don't get this. I'm not a lawyer. They may say they're concerned about legal liability. I'm a little worried. I'm putting my name on some legal document and I'm signing this and I don't even know what it is. And I'm just not going to do it. We can't control that. You can't make your doctor fill out a DBQ for you. That's unfortunate. If you're dealing with the VA, with VA doctors, it is my understanding that they are legally permitted to fill out a DBQ. However, everything I've heard from other veterans who have been treated by the VA and have asked a VA doctor to fill out a DBQ, that it's almost universally a no. And that's unfortunate. Again, can't control that, can't make the doctor do it. But if you can get a DBQ from your treating physician, it really helps, and you should at least try. So, next point, how do you try? Well, if you've been working with your doctor for a while, hopefully you've established a little bit of a personal rapport, right? You've talked to your doctor, you know your doctor knows you, you see each other on a regular basis. They're familiar with you and your condition. So you build on that. And you are polite, and you are kind, and you're deferential. And you say, hey, doctor, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I look forward to continuing to receive treatment from you. I am a veteran, and I am seeking a disability from the Veterans Administration for this particular illness, this particular disability. It would be very helpful to me if I could ask you to fill out this short VA disability form, this DBQ. I understand that it's outside of your normal activities, and if you can't do it, I get it. And if there's a small fee involved, an administrative fee in doing this sort of thing, I'm willing to pay it. Some doctors, by the way, do charge to fill out forms. Just the way it is. So consider that when you make your request, because if it's a lot of money, you might not want to fill that out, but it's up to you, right? And your doctor, of course. So you're polite, you're kind, you're deferential, you ask and explain what it's for. And if necessary, you can help the doctor fill it out. Here's what has to go in it. Could you please put in the diagnostic code and how you've been treating me and what the results have been and what the side effects are to the extent of your knowledge, doctor, right? Anything they can put in there that would be helpful. It's not that difficult for a doctor to read a DBQ and understand exactly what needs to go into it. Honestly, that's been my experience. So once you have received that back from the doctor, you read it carefully. Make sure it says the things you want it to say in your claim. That's important, right? Again, it's about controlling the narrative. Don't change it. Good Lord, no. That would be fraud. I'm saying make sure if you're receiving a DBQ from your doctor, you look at the DBQ before you submit it as part of your claim to make sure it supports your claim. All right, enough said on that. What was I going to say next? Okay, so here's how things have worked out for me. I asked for first of all, I never asked for a DBQ for my PTSD claim from the VA. I had VA doctors treating me, and I didn't know that I could ask them for a DBQ. I'm not sure what they would have said if I had asked, but I never asked. And so the only DBQ that exists is one that the C&P examiner created. It was apparently successful because I do have a rating for PTSD. I also didn't request a DBQ for tinnitus. In fact, I didn't even get a current diagnosis before I filed my claim. I didn't know I had to have one. It's been a while. So again, the C&P examiner filled out the Nexus letter and the DBQ. I've seen them. I filed a Freedom of Information Act request later on, and I did see that was filled out. But I was taking my chances because I was flying in the dark. I didn't know what the C&P examiner would say. Would they say in my Nexus letter that it was at least as likely as not? Would they say that my my diagnosis was tinnitus in the DBQ. I had no control over that, right? But it did work out in my favor, so yay, right? I just couldn't see it. I couldn't know what was happening. Now, for my sleep apnea claim, which is currently pending, I did not get a DBQ because I asked my doctor, the one who diagnosed me with sleep apnea, and I had a sleep study done, and he prescribed a CPAP, and I wear the CPAP. I asked him, would he fill out a DBQ form? His response to me was that he hates the VA. He said he hates the VA because they don't make people better. They just keep giving them drugs and make the disease, whatever it is, last longer. Why he would believe that, I have no idea. However, he was very emphatic, and so that was the end of that. I did not get a DBQ for my sleep apnea claim. I did get a nexus letter from a psychologist trying to connect my sleep apnea to PTSD, but there's no DBQ for me. Okay, moving ahead. Migraines. I have a migraine claim that I have not yet filed, but I will be filing it. I have an intent to file already. And that, I went to my neurologist and asked him politely to fill out a DBQ, and he did. And it's a beaut. It really hits the nail on the head and ties everything together with a nice bow. And when I submit my migraine claim, that DBQ will go in there with it. Moving on, in the future, I intend to file a claim for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. I've had a colonoscopy by a gastroenterologist, and I received some results from that, which would tend to support my claim. I asked him just last week, would he be so kind as to fill out a DBQ? And he said, absolutely. Send it to me. I'll fill it out and get it right back to you. That's fantastic. So that's the point of this video. A DBQ, a Disability Benefit Questionnaire. It can help you in your claims. You're going to get a DBQ whether you know it or not. So you may as well try to get it from your own doctor so that you have some control over what it says and how it supports your claim. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'm Bill. I am the Salty Old Marine. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. We're having a good time with the comments, really enjoying the input. Thanks so much to everybody for helping out. And as always, have a great day.